Hey, welcome. We're going to talk today about how to build wealth strategy with gold and silver. And most people don't know that they need to own gold and silver, but they should. Now, we're not financial advisors. We're just members sharing our experience. The information that's presented here in the 7K Wealth Strategies is not considered tax or financial advice. We encourage you to seek appropriate professional advice regarding tax and financial implications of buying, owning, or selling precious metals. Past performance of precious metals is no guarantee of future performance or value, but it sure is good information to know. You're welcome to consult your CPA or financial advisor, though they may not recommend buying precious metals. But we believe everyone should own them, and this is the way to do it. Now, what you're experiencing every day in life over this past 25 years, and these are government statistics, by the way, not the company statistics, but everyone's experiencing this. You're experiencing 88% in increases in food and drinks, 35% increase in heating or air conditioning bill, 343% in groceries, college tuition, 69% over the past 23 years from 2000 to 2023. And may I say it's worse than that today. Okay. In 2024, we experienced some of the greatest increases. In fact, college tuition more than doubled. So that's not 69%, it's over 100. We just don't have the government statistics on it yet to put it in the presentation. Water and sewage over 185%, 56% in insurance. Another one of these big increases last year that is almost more than double that today. Medical care, again, another one highly increased that the statistics aren't in there yet. But my question to you is, how many of you in this same period did your income, the net money you're taking home in your pay, increase the least of these? So that means you're getting behind. So what we're going to talk about is how you can stay ahead of the decreasing value of your dollar, its purchasing power. See, if we look in 1913, when America's currency was reset for its third time, not its first time, its third time, and it was reset on the gold standard. That meant they had to have ounces of gold in the treasury to produce or print paper money. So it was guaranteed back by gold. So if they printed it up, they had to have the gold, okay, the ounces of gold. Now, it started, a dollar bill was worth $1 in purchasing power, but as they printed up more money to cover, let's say, wars like World War I, then World War II, and then the Korean War, then the Vietnam War, and they had to print up more and more money to cover the expenses of the wars, or during times of the Great Depression, for example. The key is what happens when the government prints up money and it goes in debt, but what happens to your money that you have in your bank, your savings account, your IRA, and well, it buys less each month. They call that inflation, but it's really dilution. And so this is why they don't teach you and me about gold and silver in our education, but they should, but they don't. And they don't do it on purpose. You're not taught about gold and silver on purpose. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But if we look over time with them, when they went off the government standard, the gold standard, the government took us off that gold standard in 1971. Well, then we just had paper money, fiat money, currency that's backed by the government. Well, it's as good as the government says it is. Well, hey, until they go bankrupt, until they have to reset the currency again. Well, that's why your dollar buys so much less. In fact, today it buys less than 3 cents of the same purchasing power that dollar bill had, that paper dollar had in 1913 with the goods and services that it would buy. And that's the reason your dollar is losing its purchasing power. But guess what? We're going to introduce you to sound money, God's money, gold and silver. Gold and silver is the secret that the wealthy have used for ages to increase financial strength and protect against failing fiat paper currencies. In fact, governments and financial institutions know and use this secret for decades. They're the largest holders of gold in the world. And if they own it and the super wealthy own it, don't you think you and I ought to own a little bit of it? We ought to have it part of our diversification plan, our financial protection, our financial security. Yes, we should. But the key is people don't know about it. So we're going to do a little education. That's what our company does. We kind of educate first, communicate why one needs to own it, give them a little bit of education, and then we tell them the best places to buy it. It's just that simple. Okay. Let me give one good example. I'm 78. I'll soon be 79. I graduated from high school in 1964. I was at LSU working on my chemical engineering degree, which I followed up and got my master's in business administration right after that. But if a person had a dollar bill and a 1 ounce silver coin in 1965, they bought basically the same thing: milk, food, clothes, shoes, cars, automobiles. It just take more to buy cars and automobiles. What we called a silver dollar, okay? That's really what that was. Or the paper dollar, those two things bought the same thing. So in 1965, Ford came out with that hot Mustang. It's still a hot car today, but it only cost $2,500 in 1965, fully loaded. Or 2,500 1 ounce silver coins called a silver dollar. Either one of them would have purchased that hot Ford Mustang in 1965. Now, you could have saved a 1 ounce coin every week for your entire working career, for your 60-year working career, instead of saving those dollar bills in your 401k and your IRAs. You could have done that. It would have been affordable to you. You'd have had 3,120 of those after 6 years buying one silver coin a week in your 60-year working career. You'd have spent a little less than $10,000 on those. But let's say you didn't know about that. You didn't do it. Now, I've been in gold and silver for 38 years. You'll learn about that. I started 38 years ago doing exactly that. And thank God it's preserved our wealth and grew our wealth like nothing else has, because I went through a lot of stock market situations in my career. And everybody will. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down. It has periods of great growth, and then it had periods of great losses, okay? And so I experienced all those things, even went through the dot-com crash where I lost almost $1 million overnight, okay? But the key is, after your 60-year working career, you still need a car. So if you draw out $2,500 out of your IRA, your 401k, your savings plan, or whatever, and take it to the Ford store, what can you get with it? They say a good down payment, maybe, and 72 more months of payments you can't afford because you're retired, you're limited, you want your money to last for the rest of your life, and Social Security is not even paying the bills. Well, that's what's happening to a lot of people today that's retired. But guess what? Those same 2,500 1 ounce silver coins will buy 2 of those brand new Mustangs today, have money left over to pay gas. And if you'd have bought one of them per week for that 60-year working career, you'd have had 620 of them left after buying 2 brand new Mustangs. In fact, you don't need 2 brand new Mustangs, so you'd only use 1,250 of them to buy your brand new Mustang. And had tons of money left over. For example, those $10,000 you would have spent saving that 1 ounce silver coin for one a week for 60 years would have been worth over $109,000 today. Where else could you have done that? Nowhere else except gold and silver, but you weren't taught about that. Gold's even a better story. In the last 25 years, the average home in America cost $169,000 in 2000. Now, again, these are not our company statistics. These are government and real estate statistics, okay? We just use their statistics. 626 ounces or $169,000 would have bought that house. That same home today, the average cost in America is over $500,000. But those same 626 ounces of gold will buy 3 of those suckers today. That's a $1.5 million. So if you'd have been saving a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver every month during your working career, you would have protected yourself against that dilution, that inflation. Now, I know that's some long periods of time, 60 years and 25 years. Well, let's look at just the last 5 years. And let's say you had $1,000 and you were with our company like I was 5 years ago, or then you could have taken that $1,000, put it into a cash savings account, and it's not going to earn anything. We all know that. But 5 years later, in April of 2025, that would only been worth $760 worth of buy. Yeah, your bank account says $1,000, but it only buy you $760 of stuff adjusted for that so-called inflation. With the dilution, it's worse than that, but that we'll just use the government numbers, okay? Or you could have purchased at our price, our company price, and have it stored safe and secure in a private vault, but you own the gold. Now you can buy fractional gold for the first time in history. The average person doesn't have to pay $3,400 for an ounce of gold. No, they can buy 0.65 ounces. They can buy $100 worth. They can buy $20 worth. More about that later. But buying that $1,000, you'd have had 0.65 ounces in January 2020 that had been stored in the vault for you. Well, in April of 2025, you still have that 0.65 ounces. But you could click a button, sell it back to the company, and you get $2,275 for it. Yes, they buy it back from you. That makes transactional gold and silver for the first time in the history of this nation. Makes it affordable to the average guy and gal. But they don't know about it. They're only going to know about it if somebody, a satisfied customer, like Linda and I, tell somebody about it. Or some of the people I personally introduced to it. And then they tell you about it. Well, that's why we're here talking about it. Yeah, well, you could have bought silver with that $1,000 at our price. You'd have had 55.5 ounces in January of 2020, stored there, secured. You don't even have to keep it at your house waiting for somebody to rob you, okay? But it's stored, secured, insured by Lloyd's of London. More about that later. But that same 55.5 ounces is now worth $1,887. In other words, why is it worth that? Well, you can click a button, sell it back to the company. They turn it to cash, and they send the cash to you. You can have your cash sent to your bank account. So my question is, out of these 3 alternatives, which one would you rather have? Gold and silver is your preservation of wealth. It protects you. It protects your purchasing power from inflation. Everyone needs to own some gold and silver, and our company makes it affordable and available to everyone for the first time. See, our company is almost 9 years old, but yet no one knows about us. More about that later. Let's talk about the last 3 years. Let's talk about it saving, because everybody should be saving some of their money for their retirement. Otherwise, they'll be a street person. We know Social Security and retirement plan do not pay for everything when you retire, and you want your money to last you, and you want to live the same standard of living you worked in your entire working career. At least everyone should, but this is how we do it. Let's say you save $100 a month, and we're going to look back, and then we're going to come forward. If you'd have saved $100 a month over the last 3 years, your bank account would say you have $3,600 in it. That's your balance. But we know that it won't buy you $3,600 worth of stuff as it would 3 years ago. Okay, buys you a lot less stuff, purchase power less. We're not even going to discount it for inflation this time. We just know it's there, and we know it buys less. Okay, if you'd have bought instead with that $100 a month gold in our program at our prices, so we're going to buy at the prices that they were now. So you'd end up after the first year, you'd had 0.6682 ounces of gold. After 2 years, you'd have had 1.2709 ounces of gold. After 3 years, you'd have had 1.784 ounces of gold. Yeah, see, you didn't have fractional gold here with us. It's just like a bank account. And you can keep fractional gold in it. Now, the company has to have full ounces, but that's kind of a little story I'll tell you when we talk about the fractional gold and where it's stored and where it's kept. But let me just ask you a question. Which one would you rather have? See, gold and silver protects us. It gives us the financial insurance that we need. It gives us that full diversification that we need, even if you're in the stock market, annuities, and the rest of the financial instrument. But let's just take another example, looking at that last 3 years. Let's say, you're already working and you got some extra cash, but it's not making you any money. You can do what I did and what many people have done. But let's just use this story of you had $10,000 in cash 3 years ago, April 2022, you put $10,000 in your savings account, checking account. Well, you still have, it says you got $10,000, but it doesn't buy you the same that $10,000 did 3 years ago. No, it buys you a lot less. And even today, it buys a lot less than that. But if you'd have taken $10,000 and you'd have bought gold, you'd have bought 5.56 ounces of gold. You still have 5.56 ounces of gold. You could click a button, sell it back to the company. You'd have got $18,000 for it in April 2020. Hey, today you even get more than that for it. That's the beautiful news about it, because see, we're in August of 2025, and all we have to do is look at the prices of gold today. From April of 2025 went up again. Okay, same thing with silver. If you'd have bought silver with that $10,000, you'd have had 462.4 ounces. Well, you'll still have 462.4 ounces in your vault, but that's what it would have been worth if you sold it back in April 2025. So which one would you rather have? I told you gold's a good story, okay? Well, buying gold and silver bullion is your strategy to protect your wealth, and I say even grow your wealth, okay? And it's your fully diversified ability to protect your wealth. You don't want all your eggs in one basket. We've always heard that story. But so why aren't people buying gold and silver? Well, first of all, they haven't been taught about it. They got to learn a little bit about it, like we're learning about it right now. Now, I had to teach myself 38 years ago, but thank the Lord that I did, because it provided our financial wealth for our entire life. It's provided our standard of living. Yeah, I made great money, but it's because of gold and silver. And I'll give you an example of that. But I had to do my own study. I had to do my own learning. I had to make my own mistakes. And mistakes can be expensive. And I did. I've dealt with every major gold and silver company or know of every major gold and silver. Maybe I didn't do dealings with them, but I investigated. I learned about them because I'm wanting to buy more and more gold and silver. I'm wanting to be fully diversified. I want financial insurance. I want my money to grow for me and not go bankrupt like stocks do, like annuities do, like mutual funds do. They go bankrupt. Yeah. Well, why aren't people doing it? Well, it's these basic questions. Well, what should I buy? Should I buy gold? Should I buy silver? Should I buy coins? Should I buy bars? They don't know. Who should I trust? The people advertising on TV? Heck no, because that's the biggest ripoffs in the world. They pay millions and millions of dollars for their advertisement. Don't you know they have to get that money back from that advertising? You see, we don't advertise on TV. That's why you can buy fractional gold for the same price as another member buying $1 million worth. Oh, whoa. That's never been done before. Yes, that's what this company did nine years ago. November 2016, when it came into existence. That's what I liked about it. It made gold and silver affordable to everyone, and it gave an education. So they didn't have to, get ripped off to learn about gold and silver. And they didn't have to put up $10,000. You don't have to put up $10,000. You don't have to put up $1,000. You decide what you want to buy. You do it on your own budget. And you see, so it doesn't take a $5,000 or $10,000 or $25,000 and the company giving you a loan so you can start off your gold and silver purchase like a lot of those advertisers on TV do. Do you need to be an expert to win? Not with our company. You definitely don't. That's people helping people, and we all learn at the same time, and we learn together. That's the beauty of what we've done. And so what our company does, the mother company, 7K Metals, built a membership for just you and me. It's kind of like the Costco of gold and silver, kind of like the Amazon of gold and silver, kind of like the, Sam's Warehouse. But we're more like a Netflix, a Costco, because, with membership comes benefits. Okay. And that's what we are. We're membership. So until 7K Metals came into existence, it has been too complicated for most people. But a 7K membership made sound money simple. Gold and silver, God's money. And so let me explain that. About 5 years ago, in the beginning, 9 years ago, it was a membership. You had to buy your gold and silver. You had to ship it to you. Well, there's a problem with that too, because if you hold it, somebody can rob it from you. You got to insure it. You got to put it on your home insurance. That costs money. Or you're taking a big risk, okay? And then when you have your gold and silver in your hands, then when you want to turn it to cash, you got to sell it. Well, see, our company recognized that problem, but you can't do everything at one time. And so 5 years ago, they developed sound money, private vaulting system, where you have vault. Do you think the rich people keep their millions of dollars of gold and silver in their house? No. Or in their private safe in their house? No. They keep it in depositories, just like the banks, just like the countries do, just like America, the Treasury. They keep it in Fort Knox, and they keep it in, that's a depository, by the way, Fort Knox, the U.S. Treasury Depository. They keep it in West Point Mint. They keep it in the Denver Mint Depository. That's the U.S. Depository. That's where they keep their gold and silver bullion. They make gold and silver eagles and coins and bars out of at their mints, okay? And then people buy those. And then they store them in Brinks depositories or other depositories where they pay to have it stored. It's like a bank account for your gold and silver, okay? Kind of similar. Well, 7K developed their own technology with private vaults, meaning it's not reportable to the government. That's another great benefit here. But you can buy fractional gold. So a member of our company gets a sound money wallet account, they can buy $1 million worth. Or you can buy $10 worth. You both pay the same price. Now, see, that's unheard of in this industry. They always gave the rich people the big benefit with the real low prices for buying a whole lot at one time. Well, That's the difference in our company. You get to buy it at the same price as the wealthy do. You get some of the best prices for fractional gold in the entire marketplace. The other people, you buy fractional gold, you have to have it shipped to you, and you're going to be paying $5,000 and $6,000 an ounce for it, instead of paying about $3,400, $3,500 an ounce for it. That's the beauty of it. So you will get an account, and you'll set it up, and it'd be like a bank account. Instead of dollars in it, has your ounces of gold, your ounces of silver, has the current value of it, and it has the value that they'll buy it back from you with a click of a button. In other words, it kind of works like a crypto wallet, kind of like a bank account wallet, okay, on your phone. Same way, except you get to buy fractional gold and silver, and you get to store it and secure it there. And it's insured 100% by Lloyd's of London. But if you build up, you can buy fractional, but if you get a 1 ounce bar or 1 ounce coin, then you can ship it to you. Okay, but you have paid the shipping and insurance. Well, that's fine. If you want to hold it, go ahead. And then when you want to sell it back, you'll have to ship it back to the company, pay for the shipping and insurance to do that, but they'll still buy it back from you. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we have instant, quick liquidation because you can do it right on your phone or right on your computer. Yeah, when you log into your account, it's safe, secure, and it's insured by Lloyd's of London 100%. Better than having your cash in a bank. Do you know what I mean by this? You can own gold and silver for as little as $1. Yeah, you can buy $1 a day, okay, with this. Now, nowhere else could you do that. Not 5 years ago. This company is changing the entire industry. But we don't advertise on TV because we can't. We couldn't afford to give you these prices if they advertised on TV. So we did it the 100% effective and efficient way. Satisfied customers telling other satisfied customers. It moves slowly, a lot slower, but the business builds sound, secure, and gets stronger and stronger and bigger every year. And that's what we're doing. And that's why we're sharing it with you today. So you can get your account. You can start protecting your wealth. You can start building your wealth. And when you become a satisfied customer, you're probably going to tell other people about it and help us grow the company even bigger. Okay? So how does this work? Well, the vault is in Idaho, where it's tax-free. By the way, no, you're not going to be paying taxes and sales taxes on your gold and silver shipped to you, like at other companies when they charge you if you buy gold and silver, okay? Because Idaho is a tax-free state for gold and silver. Plus, it's a private vault, meaning it's private vaulting laws, meaning there's no reporting to the government of what you own. That's another great thing. And when you sell it, there's no reporting to the government of what you sell. That's another great thing. Okay. Now, when you have it shipped to you, you already own it, so you don't pay sales taxes when you ship it to a state because you already own it. It's in the vault. Okay. So what's that mean? Just like in a bank account, you may have $100. Linda may have $1,000. I may have $2,000. Jack may have $300. Susan may have $5,000. But that bank has all of our money in one pot, but we have our own account, and it shows how much money we got. Well, if you have 1/10 of an ounce of a gold bar, Linda has 2/10 of an ounce of gold bar, I got 5/10 of an ounce of gold bar, well, that's 8/10 of an ounce of one gold bar. Well, gold bar is 1 full ounce. Well, here's the rules. They've got to have 1 full ounce in that vault. But our accounts tell what we have. So they can't they don't have little fractional pieces of that bar in there. They got to have a full ounce in there. So when you add up everybody's accounts together, they've got to have that, and it's audited every week by a third independent party, or Lloyd's of London wouldn't give them the rates of 100% insurance that they would have. So it's very safe, more safe and secure than your money in your bank. And by the way, if we all wanted our money in the bank, At one time, we couldn't get it because the bank only keeps 10% of our cash. That's all they're required to keep. That's why they're afraid of everybody wanting $10,000 or more. You got to give them notice now if you want more than $10,000 withdrawal out of your bank account in cash. Oh, yeah. A lot of people didn't know that either. But here, they have to have the gold and silver in that vault. So if we all got it out at the same time, it didn't matter. It'd just go out. Okay? That's pretty cool. Now, again, quick, easy liquidation. Click on a button. You just sell. You don't have to worry about who to sell it to, well, what price you can get, what's the best price. You don't have to worry about any of that because they give the best buyback prices in the industry also. So how do you get started with us? Well, you just establish an account. You got 2 memberships. Like I said, we're a membership company. We started out 8.5 years ago, a little bit more, almost 9 years ago, November 2016, where you got a membership, just like at Costco. We had 2 memberships then. Now here, you get a basic membership for as little as $149. Yeah, it's valued at this, and we can show you the value of it, but that doesn't matter. Just the cost of the membership is all we have to be concerned about right now. Hey, getting your account set up for gold and silver and getting your Sound Money wallet set up so you can start accumulating gold and silver and learning about everything. Now, the Lifetime Legacy membership, that's the best one. And that's what I encourage for people already working, already earning a living, or already retired or approaching retirement. This is what I recommend for people young, just graduated from high school, getting their first job in a minimum wage, because they can afford to buy $5 or $10 of gold and silver every week. And that'd be much better than putting $5 or $10 in their savings account every week. Or give them a choice of doing it diversified. Part there and part here if they're a little, afraid. Until they learn more. Well, let's look at those 2 memberships. What does it entail? Well, like a Costco membership, you get a card. They have 2 memberships, and you have to renew it every year. Well, if you get your Sound Money account through our 7K membership, you're going to get a better deal, and that's what I'm going to explain. That's why I want you to get a 7K membership, and I don't want you to just go to our Sound Money account, because there it's going to cost you $199 and you're going to have to renew it every year. So we're going to show you how you get some great cost savings right off the bat by getting it with our mother company, and you get your Sound Money wallet account free and with less restrictions on you. You don't have to renew it every year. You got a lifetime membership. Okay. Now with the basic, you're not going to just get a membership. You're also going to get $20 of gold deposited into your account. Unlike Costco, they give you a card and a website and say, go to the store, but they don't make you go to the store. Well, same thing here. You're going to get a website. You're going to get quite a few websites, in fact. You're going to get 6 websites, okay? Because you get a back office where you can log in to each one of the 3 main businesses that we have that you can be associated with if you choose, but you don't have to, okay? But we want you to have a Sound Money wallet account. Okay, you're going to get $20 gold, and you can store up to $1,000 of precious metals, gold and silver, free, no fees. In other words, you're not paying storage fees for the gold and silver, and you're not paying insurance fees for it. After $1,000, you would pay 0.5%. I'll explain that in a minute. But you're for up to $1,000. That's why I call this for our young people just starting out in life and getting started, or people who are absolutely flat broke, but they still need a way to start getting ahead. And this provides it for them. Now, the legacy is $5.99, lifetime membership. You're going to get $40 of gold deposited into your account, your Sound Money wallet account. You get to save up to $50,000, no fees. So your goal would be to fill yourself up to $50,000 worth of gold and silver. You pay no storage fees, no insurance costs. It's all covered by your lifetime membership, and you got a lifetime membership. Okay? Now, after $50,000, you would pay 0.5%. Let me just give you an example of what that means. Let's say you had $100,000 in, because I got more than $50,000. My wife has more than $50,000 in hers. And so we pay the storage fees. What is that? 0.5%. Well, your first $50,000 on that $100,000 is free. So you'd pay 0.5% on that $50,000 extra. Well, 0.5% of $50,000 is only $250 for the year. Hey, that's worth it. You couldn't buy a safe, you couldn't increase your security system, and you certainly couldn't pay the insurance on your personal article floaters just in case somebody robbed you. You know. So it's very, very affordable. Some of the best rates in the entire industry. Some of the wealthy people, when they're finding out about this, they'll want to convert from Brinks to here, you know, but they got to find out about it first. We don't advertise on TV, remember? Now, you're going to get what we call a stack and sell account. These are for our collectible, unique, rare coins, numismatic. You'll learn about that. We have too much to do. We don't want to confuse the issue. There's so much more in benefits that you can get, but they're all choice. None of them are pounced upon you or put upon you, or you have to do things. You all choose to do once you learn what it's about and you get your questions there. Same with, you know, the back office and tools. You get standard with the basic. You get premium. You get all you need in the back office, and registering as a bit. You cannot have a basic account with a S Corp or an LLC. That must be a legacy account. Okay, so you can't have a basic account with a corporation, an S corporation, C corporation, or LLC, or a limited or a trust. Those must be legacy account. That's what that means. Okay, so now you understand the difference of the memberships. Okay, and so let's just talk about the advantages of why you want to have your gold and silver stored instead of shipped to you. Now, you might want to have a little bit of gold and silver in your hand, that emergency stuff, you know, like an emergency fund. Sure. I mean, I do. Everyone should have a little, and that you can insure that. It's affordable with your homeowner's personal articles floater. Okay. But here's what happens when you physically, this is what's happened for decades and decades. And this is why the wealthy never really held it. They always kept it in depositories. Okay? If you own your gold and silver and you want to convert it to cash so you can buy something with it, what do you have to do? You have to have a buyer. Well, most people take it to a local buyer. They may not know somebody. And, you know, it's a pawn shop or a coin shop. Now, they see you coming. And you're lucky if you get 85% of spot. Now, that means you're getting a lot less than what it's worth. Because our company pays you over spot. Now, like I said, they pay you the best prices in the industry as buyback. No negotiation. Well, or you could mail it to 3 of the largest online brokers. And as a member of our company, we'll tell you who they are. We want you to know about the entire industry of gold and silver. And if you want some shipped to you and it's a better price, go ahead. They're reputable, good company. We're going to teach you about that in our family. Okay. But to sell it to them is a 3 to 6 week process. And you got to pay the shipping and the insurance to get it there, along with a deal deposit check. Oh, yeah, you got to send them a check along with your gold and silver because you're asking them to buy it back. And if you don't do the deal, they get to keep that deposit check. Now, they got to certify your bars and your silvers, all 100% 999 silver, pure, not any of the fake stuff out in the marketplace. Okay. Another reason you want it stored. Okay. Lloyd's of London isn't going to insure it if they have fake stuff there and it's certified, okay? So You know you've got real stuff sitting in the vault. Now, you got to pay shipping and insurance, a deposit check. They got to certify that it's real. When they certify it's real, they're going to give you an email, text, and a call. Don't miss that. Don't miss that call, because you've got to accept it or reject it right then. Otherwise, that deal is off, and you got to wait till another deal is made, okay, or an offer, and that clock could start ticking all over again. If you need money, this is a slow process. Believe me, I've done it before. Okay, so here's the key: whatever they quote you, you got to accept. If you reject it, you say, "Well, that's not enough for my gold and silver I sent it." But they keep that deal deposit check. Then you got to pay for your shipping and insurance to get your gold and silver back. Now that's the way it's been for decades. Okay, either a pawn shop, coin shop, or online where you do it the mail-in process. Now, here's the beauty of our Sound Money wallet and our Max Vault private accounts. You get to buy at affordable incremental quantities, low, affordable prices that you can afford. You're buying at the same price that a person that buys $1 million worth at, or $100,000 worth, or $10,000 worth. When you buy your dollar or $20 or $50 or $100 or $1,000 or $10,000. You all pay the same price. That's cool. That's great. You can even put it on autosave, where it's like a payroll deduction. You can have safe, secure, fully insured, and it must be audited every week by a third party. And believe me, Lloyd's of London isn't going to let them audit their own stuff. And if they don't have, you add up all the accounts of gold and silver in it, and if they don't have the amount of ounces in that vault, everything has to stop until the company puts that amount of ounces in that vault for business to resume. But it's never happened, by the way. They've always had that or more in it. Now, there's no recording, once again, no 1099-Bs sent on you of what you own. That's great. That's some of the differences of private vaulting regulation versus depository. The other is a private vaulter is a private vaulter. They just accounting and storing and charging you for the storing and insurance fees and maintaining your gold and silver secure and safe for you. Whereas a depository, they can use your gold and silver to expand their business. That puts your gold and silver at risk. A private vaulter can't use your gold and silver to expand their business. That's cool. That's private vaulting laws and regulations. Well, you get to see your holdings in your account 24/7, what it's worth, what you can liquidate it for, all the time. You can buy 24/7. You don't have to wait till the bank opens or closes. Okay, so your gold and silver account, it's your ultimate place for financial security and no stress, no negotiation in liquidation, no hassle. So financial insurance, ultimate diversification, and instant liquidation. That is the main advantages that we have. Plus, in your account, we're going to train you what you haven't been taught about. We're going to give you buyer certification. We're going to teach you about gold and silver bullion, and in a manner that you can understand, not this highfalutin financial lingo. It's going to be where everyday lay person can understand the difference, what a spot price is, what premiums are for bars, what are for coins, what the differences are between them, the basic information you need so that you can have the ultimate experience in owning your gold and silver for financial insurance and diversification. We're also going to teach you about collectors training, numismatic coin, a place where your coins can get value over the long term faster than bullion does. We've seen what bullion does relative to the dollar. Well, in collectible coins, that amount of gold and silver in that collectible coin, that it gains that same bullion value, but it gains more value because of its rarity, because of its demand, because it's people just want them because of their beauty, okay, or their collectability, or it fits, their what they're trying to save. Like, let's say in the Batman collection, or Star Wars collection, or the Kennedy series, or presidential series, or some very unique series that are out. But numismatic coin collecting gives you a chance to diversify inside of the gold and silver bullion market. And that's the key, learning about it. Like I said, you're going to have a lot of access to a lot of other member benefits through this that you can participate in by choice. For example, a lot of people become members of 7K just to get health insurance because ours is much more affordable than their alternatives that they're paying for right now. Same doctor, same hospital, same emergency center, same everything, except the premiums are a lot less for the same coverage. Life insurance. We have the autosaver numismatic coin subscription. We have the bullion. We have coin drops. You don't know what any of these things are. You can do through our affiliate company, New Direction, where you can transfer an IRA that you have in stocks and bonds or annuities or whatever. You can have it transferred and have a gold and silver, a precious metals IRA. And you get it at 7K prices instead of the standard prices in the industry. There's so many more benefits, 1099 tax benefit, if you want to help us increase the business, if you want to participate in a business lab like some of us do, because we need extra income, we want extra income, and we like telling people about things that we are very pleased with and that we're satisfied customers and we can get paid for it. In fact, you can get paid too without even participating in the comp plan, because like I said, we don't advertise on TV. And once you get your account and you really like it, it's like a good movie or good book. I mean, you'll tell your friends, relatives, neighbors, and if they get an account because you referred them to it, we'll give you instant gold pay. They get a basic account, you'll get $20 of gold deposit in your account. It's called instant gold pay. It's a referral fee. Just like Amazon did, just like Costco did, just like Netflix, just like a lot of companies do. You refer a new customer, we'll handle them. You don't have to do that. You just refer them and work with the people that you work with. So again, the basic membership is just $149, and you can store up to $1,000 worth of precious metals, no fees, in the vault. And you're going to get $20 of gold put in your account, not just a membership, and we'll help you set up your website. The legacy is $5.99, lifetime membership. You get to do up to $50,000 free, no fees. You get $40 in, and you get a lot of other benefits with it. Later, you'll learn about them after you're a member, and they're all choice. You either want to participate or you don't, and there's no one pushing you or grabbing you and twisting your arm to do this and that, okay? We just want you to own gold and silver. That's the mission statement of our company. We're to make gold and silver affordable to the average person and for every person to be able to own gold and silver, because we know times will be needed. So get back with the person that invited you to this presentation and tell them which membership you want. And I'm just going to assume, which I think you'll agree, that everyone needs to be a member. You need your 7K membership in gold and silver. And I want to welcome you in advance to 7K Metals and your road to financial security and wealth building. Thank you for your time and attention.